Hi, I'm Devin, and you're listening to The Third Party. I'm here with Ashton
Hello.
and Ollie.
Hello.
So, we thought this episode we'd talk about some gaming news, considering how many people love to game. So, Ashton, what have you got? Your
Right.
research.
So, do any of you remember the Binding of Isaac? It was like a little paper world. It was like this little man, and he was like a little. I guess it was like a little kid, and I think you'd probably have seen it around. It was like a 2D papercraft kind of world, and you'd go around
I
in like
think I've heard
dungeons
of
and
it.
stuff. You'd have to run away from things and throw stuff, and it was quite a good game. But there's a sequel to it. Like no, it's a prequel. It's actually a prequel, but it's called The Legend of Bumbo. Now, let me explain. So, it's like a turn-based
Oh yeah, I
combo
see it. Yeah.
kind of thing, and what that means. So basically, it's I guess it's I don't know if it's multiplayer. It might be,
Mm.
but from what I've heard, it's so turn-based. What I'm guessing what that means is you take your turn, then they take theirs. Kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
you ever
yeah.
played the Pokemon games? That's a very
And like
turn-based
you
combat
know,
game.
the worms tank thing,
Yeah,
that's
worms
kind
and
of
all
stuff. They
the
shoot, then they wait while you attack,
yeah,
and then yeah.
all that sort of stuff. And I'm I'm guessing it's fairly similar to this Binding of Isaac. Um, there's not much on it, to be fair. It's very new. It's supposed to be coming out this year, but I'm assuming it's the end of this year. There's no release date mentioned yet. But it's a very anticipated game because Binding of Isaac was very popular. A lot of people played it. It was a very good looking game, even though it was like a 2D game. It was still for its time. It was good. It was like that. I don't know if you guys ever played this game. It was called Charlie Murder.
Mm.
Now that was on Xbox 360. That was an incredible game. Basically what you'd do is it was like a platformer game, but it was all just 2D. And
Yeah.
you could only go back and forth. You could go up and you could duck, but that was it. It was you'd hit. You had these special attacks, stuff like that. It was a very simple game, but you could very easily hack and cheat the game,
Yeah.
which was fun. It was good to have the better stuff, being able to hit things and kill them instantly. And I ended up, that was the game that I used to play like all the time with my mates and that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to this game. It's
It
new,
sounds fun.
it's different. It is nice. It looks good. I've seen pictures of it. It looks really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been ages since they released the Binding of Isaac game. So
So did you play the old? Did you play the old game then? I'm
what the
guessing.
Binding of Isaac?
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
was like the main objective of the game then?
You
What
know,
did you have
right.
to
So
do?
the main objective of the game, you started as just this. There was a backstory to it, but I don't remember. It was a very
Mm.
weird game, so I didn't really pay attention to it. But I just remember the gameplay.
Yeah.
And you would wake up and you couldn't. You were crying. You were on your own. You were like a little baby, kind of.
Oh.
It was weird. And you'd run around, and there were these pink things that would try and kill you. And there were these like. Oh, it was a long time ago. There were like these weird bloody things that would try and kill you, and there were bats and stuff that would attack you. It's on.
Okay.
It's you can get it on Xbox. I think. I think it's fairly cheap. It might even be free. Might be one of those games. But it was a very big thing. Funnily enough, it was a very big thing
Yeah.
because it was just this chill, funny game, but it had a good storyline. I just don't remember it because I was so into the weirdness of it. Like you could
Mm.
throw shit at people.
It does. It does sound like a very interesting game, and I think
It
that's why I
is. It
would
is
like
very
it
interesting. It's
because
got
it's
like
different.
a
It's a lot different. It's original. You
yeah.
know.
It's got that kind of nostalgic feel. Like it's like an older game, but it's new. It's like it's got
Yeah.
the same sort of feeling as the old time games, but it's like this big thing that's just come out, and it's nice to be able to play a game that you would play as a kid. That sort of stuff. Why? What games have you been looking at? What stuff
Ollie,
have you been talking about?
Yeah.
what games have you been looking at?
Ooh. To be honest, I haven't actually looked at many. I'm not.
What games do you
Which
find
se-
interesting, even if it's old and you still play it? Do you like? Because there are some games
Yeah,
that
like the GTA and the Forza games, they're still big.
like GTA, like and Destiny 1. Some people still play Destiny 1. That game's so old now, and I still enjoy it so much
See, I've never
just
played the
because
Destiny games.
oh they're amazing.
I've
I
never,
think it's
I've
just
never. I played the demo
the
of Destiny
story to it,
1,
and yeah,
but I
it's
never
just.
brought it. I liked it. I just didn't at the time. Obviously, I didn't have a job, so I didn't have the money.
So I've got a couple games that I'd like to talk about,
Yeah, go for it. I got some as more
and
as well. But...
I'm gonna start with a game called Unravel.
Oh, I love
Now,
Unravel.
no, it's it's a very weird game,
It is.
but I love it. You like this person made out of like yarn,
Yeah.
and you start in this house, and there's like you're like finding like these old memories of
Mm.
like it might be a grandmother or something,
Mm-hmm.
and I just found that game really interesting because when Unravel 2 came out, what? And it felt a lot different because with Unravel 1 you were by yourself, you're on your own,
Right.
and it was a very I kind of felt a little depressed while playing that game because of how sad all of these like memories that it was showing you
Oh,
were.
right. Okay.
But
So
then
it was one of those
Unravel
like
2 came out and you had a teammate, and that just made the game a whole lot more fun and based on teamwork than the
just on your
storyline
own kind
because
of.
you only need to get one person up onto like a ledge and you can just pull the other person up
Right. So it's
because
very.
you're attached to each other
It's
with
more of
the
like a communication
string.
puzzling game rather than just a solo puzzling game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
The
like
other
games like that.
games, yeah, the other games I've got are um one of them is the new Modern Warfare game, and the reason I want to talk about this is because of what some people have said.
Right.
Now, in the trailer, it's very realistic,
Mm-hmm.
correct? Like you've all
Yeah.
seen it, and you've seen how the movements are in the game. There have been people saying that they don't like the look of this game because it's too real.
Yeah, I think people that have actually lived that sort of life and had
Yeah,
that sort of it could probably hit quite close to home. So I can imagine, it's like playing FIFA after coming home from a football match. You'd get bored of it in the end, and I think that's what people are. They see all this stuff online. They people that actually go into the army and they live all this life of having to just be away from home all the time. I could imagine coming home to them playing a game the same as what they've just been through. It's probably
exactly.
quite
Yeah,
hard on them. You know
but
what I
it
mean?
must be a lot different because
Oh yeah,
you know
so much different. There's no comparing. You could never make a game that would ever
you could
even
never
touch
like
up on it.
recreate a Call of
Yeah,
Duty
like
game. There's too much.
my uncle went into the army, and he recently left. He came out, and because I spoke to him about it. I said, is it something I should ever even ever do? Is it good? And he said, don't even question it. Don't ever do it.
Yeah, don't even dare.
Because
Yeah.
as much as it's all fun and games when you first start, you get all these guns and that. You see so much stuff that it just ruins you. Like
You don't want to see it.
because the thing is you don't in these games they don't show the reality of it. They just show the explosions, the gunshots, the cool music, all the running, the slow motion. Whereas in real life it's nothing like that. There's
like
days and
evil
days.
Russians.
The worst bit about and he told me this. The worst bit about fighting in the army is the silence. It sends you insane because you're waiting all this time, and there's no because it's not a real war isn't like big and gunshots and explosion. It's silent. It's dead silent until
silence waiting.
yeah
for
until
the first shot.
until the first shot goes. There's nothing. And he said to me, it's like you're waiting to die basically, because all that happens is a bullet to come rogue just past your head. That's it. You have to just be stood in the wrong place, and
There's a lot of realistic shooter games now.
Yeah,
and
I mean, my favourite
think
one is probably. See, I love Rainbow. It was always a good,
Rainbow's good, but
realistic game.
it's strange because it's
Yeah,
not exactly like your leg gets caught in a bear trap and you
yeah,
just
no.
stand back up
I
and
mean,
walk off.
the physics
And
of the game, like the actual shooting and like the actual physics of the guns and that, they're really realistic. It's the actual
yeah,
physics of the characters that aren't,
yeah,
and like the abilities and stuff. But apart from that, like certain characters, like Fuse, for example, his character is unbelievable.
Gadget. His gadget's smart too.
Yeah,
I
like
think
he
whoever
puts it on the wall and
created
it's like
the original characters have the smartest gadgets.
yeah,
Ash
because
with
I
her
think
breaching rounds and
the first characters have stuff based on real life.
yeah.
Whereas
Well, other than Bandit and his car battery that he attaches to a metal wall, but
Well, no, that's a rig.
I mean, you
People
could
have
do
made
it, but
things
he
like that.
doesn't even attach wires or anything. He just
Oh
dumps
well,
it
yeah,
next
but
to
it's
this
still,
metal.
there's still things similar to that in real life, like
Yeah,
makeshift grenades and that. They have to learn to make them in case something happens.
yeah.
You
Like
know.
I was at this World War II thing the other day, or World War I, and they made these nail grenades. They just shut
Yeah,
like
nail bombs.
they filled a
Yeah.
like a glass bottle, and they put they no, it wasn't. They filled a glass bottle with rocks and dynamite,
Really,
and and what would happen
just
was
like a
the
shrapnel
shrapnel
grenade.
from the glass and the rocks would send out so quickly. I
Kill
mean,
everybody around them.
they
Yeah,
were a lot more but they were a lot more dangerous than grenades nowadays, because you know how pin on a grenade only when you let go of
yeah.
the
Whereas you have
like
to just
big
get rid of
trigger.
it.
Whereas with that, the second you lit that fuse, if you dropped it,
Yeah.
that's it. Like if you drop a grenade and you pick it back up, you can put your hand and then you can just, or you can dive out
Well,
the
with a
way.
grenade,
But with one of them,
it's a timed thing. With a
yeah,
grenade nowadays, it's got a timer on it, so that if something does go wrong, you have that sort of leeway to get it out.
yeah,
Whereas with these old time grenades, these handmade, like these nail bombs,
nail
that's like
grenades and
nail
stuff. Yeah,
bombs are a thing.
if something goes wrong, if you've got the fuse too small or something and it
Anything,
blows up
even
in
if
your
you
hand,
go to light it and you catch a bit of dynamite on the outside of the grenade and then bang, it's in your hand, you're dead. You're so dead. Like there's no coming back from that. You know what I mean?
back
There's
to
nothing.
yeah. So back to games.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
lot of realistic shooters coming out. Like you've got Modern Warfare and Breakpoint as well.
Right.
And the reason I like that game so much is because of how different it is.
You've played that game,
Basically,
right?
yeah, I'm playing the beta right now, which is
Right.
out from the 5th to this Monday.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, the reason I like it so much is because you're on your own. In Wildlands, you have the AI with you, so you
See,
don't
I
feel
loved
lonely. And I
Wildlands.
like you can abuse this tactic where you like sync mark shots, and then you can just make them engage, and they'll never miss.
Yeah.
Right? Like one,
Yeah,
I
that's a
saw my
very
AI run in front of an enemy, and the enemy didn't see him. And I was like, oh, so he can only spot me.
Mhm.
So I abused this tactic of syncing shots with my AI and just letting them shoot constantly and constantly until everyone was dead.
Yeah.
But now in Breakpoint, you're on your own, and usually you're a ghost.
Mhm.
You're stuck. Those
Yeah.
enemies are
You're
stuck on the island with
the
you.
hunter kind of thing.
You're
Yeah.
you're the hunter. They're the prey. On Breakpoint, it is the complete opposite way around. I was playing with my friend Dan today, and we were at this space where you had to be a power level, like a gear level 150, and I was like a 35.
Yeah.
We got spotted by one person, and a UAV thingy, like this big plane that scans us, sends a flare down and alerts everyone in that nearby area of your location. So these guys with massive metal gear and bulletproof helmets, like literally, you can shoot and the bullet will ping off of the helmet and you'll hear the ping.
Yeah. I mean.
We got spotted and we got annihilated. The drones came down, and in 2 hits we were down.
Mm,
We're stuck on the island with the most powerful enemies, and it's so hard. But that's why I love the stealth in the game, because you don't have to pick every fight. I usually just crawl past and
yeah.
like cover myself in mud and just hide and wait for them to pass me. Then I just crawl away.
Yeah. See
I
that.
don't want to pick the worst fights in the game.
Yeah.
That's why I like.
That that reminds me of Gears of War. Games like that, because they're. I mean, don't get me wrong. Gears of War is not always a stealthy game, but there is that sort of stealth to it. There's. It's not necessarily a choice of fighting or not, but there's a strategy to it.
Yeah.
And because I didn't really, it's not like I didn't play Gears of War very often, but I played a few of them, and they are they're good games. They are good games, and to be fair, if I was to choose a shooter game, like a realistic shooter game, you play Armor, don't you?
I play Armor a lot,
Now
which is one of the most
I've heard
realistic.
that's
yeah.
really good. I've got it, but I haven't played it.
You can't download it, can you?
No, I can't. My
You should really try to, because
I will.
it
Yeah,
is-
I'll get it. I'll
it
get
is
it.
an amazing game.
It's
Take 500 days, boys.
I've see with Armor, it's I've seen it. I've seen a lot about it. It's very like
Like
if you mess
if
up,
you
you
get
mess up.
shot,
That's it.
you don't just wrap a bandage around it
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
run off. If you get shot, you have to get a combat medic to run across the field to get some morphine in. Sorry, to get some morphine into you, and you're still bleeding. You know, you've got to
Mm.
put bandages around it, and you're still hurt afterwards. It's not like the bullet wound disappeared.
Yeah.
You're still breathing heavily. Your gun's shaking a lot more because you were just hit by a bullet. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
in COD where you get shot 10 times in the chest and still have full functionality of your body.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very realistic shooter, and it's a lot more tactical.
Yeah.
Me and Ollie play this game a lot, and we don't like, you know, sit around just running in. We have to sit back and snipe people for a good 20 minutes before we're allowed to move
Mm.
in.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you just
Or you
move.
just get a tank and drive in there, but
Yeah.
That's beyond the point.
sometimes if you run into a mine or best.
Yeah, then just yeah.
But
Talking about
Yeah.
like these sorts of new games and these nice looking games, realistic games. So obviously on PS4, a while ago, God of War was released, and
very good game.
it is a good game, yeah. And I say recently, I fairly recently got a PS4 Pro, and also I've got a 4K TV. So this 4K compatible game,
Mm.
I played it without 4K first on my old TV, and then
Yeah,
I
'cause you
replayed
got
the
your new
story.
TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after I'd played it, and then I replayed the whole game in 4K
In
because it's
4K,
so
did it look
good.
really good?
It is unbelievable. Like there's no words. It
The
is
detail to the face as well. Even on my PS
incredible.
Slim, the detail to the just a little piece of dirt
Yeah,
on the face and stuff
it's
is
unreal.
incredible.
In 4K, you can see everything. Like it is stupid, and I don't know. This bring like talking about God of War. I'm really hoping they make another game because Kratos is getting old. You know, he's getting there, and it was just literally at the end of the story. You know, this kid that you play with this whole time that you
It's
see him.
Loki.
Yeah, you see him go through this whole good kid, then
Yeah,
piece
very
of shit
angry as
kid,
well.
and then back to normal, back to good.
Yeah.
And it's like you watch this kid grow up really and learn what he can do and all that stuff, and then he gets all his powers and all this stuff.
Mm.
It's the storyline in that game is,
One of my favorite scenes is when he has that massive outbreak on the big guy,
and
and
he
he
kills
just
him.
starts stabbing him and stabbing him
Yeah.
and stabbing him and stabbing him after he's dead as well.
Oh, what the
Yeah.
big guy that he's when you
Right
kill him
at
at the
the start.
beginning? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just
And he slices
you
him
can
and that.
see the rage of just like
Yeah. My
um,
my favourite scene, like my favourite cutscene in that game, is where Kratos goes back to the house and he gets his two blades, and
oh
you're
yeah, and
going
he
in the
opens
boat
the
and you
door.
can see all these. You see the woman that basically sealed him to this body,
Yeah.
because there's a storyline behind it, but it's very long and there's no there's no point in me
Yeah,
explaining
no
it.
way we can say that in half an hour.
Yeah, but this woman, Athena, she locks him in this body because her basically the idea was her father made made Kratos. He
Yeah.
made this god of war.
Yeah.
And so Athena and Kratos planned to kill him together. She killed her father, and then she killed Kratos with this sword that kills gods. And you once you're dead, once you've been killed with that thing, there's nothing you can't get back from it. Like
Yeah, exactly.
gods can come back to life with like the what's it called, the box of no, I do know the name of it. It's Pandora's box. That's the one.
Yeah.
So Pandora's box is this mystery. You open it, it gives you some random stuff, and it's all this godly powers in this box. And then Kratos uses it to come back to life, and he comes back to life about 3 times. I think he kills himself in one of them, and he gets brought back because they want him back, and he doesn't even have a choice. And so he decides, you know what, I'm just gonna live with it. And then she kills him with this sword. And somehow, I don't know how, I think he ends up crawling the whole way from the end of hell all the way back, fights a load of people, kills Hades, who is the god of the underworld,
God of the Underworld, yeah.
and then comes back to kill her. So he's then back in, and she's like, what? How were you alive? And he kills her as well. But in doing that, he kills another god because he stabs her, and then it stabs this other god's heart because this other god's a giant.
Yeah.
And so Kratos literally kills all of the Greek gods because they all tried to kill him. He's not a Greek god.
Yeah.
I think he's a Norse god or something. He's
Norse
from
mythology.
Yeah, he's Norse. No, he's Greek
Or-
mythology, and then he goes into Norse mythology. That's what that is. That's what the
Mm.
new God of War game is. It's Norse.
Yeah.
And so
I think it's a mix of Greek mythology and Norse mythology.
the new
like,
one is
Thor.
Norse.
Yeah.
But the old Kratos is in Greek mythology. The reason being is because what happens is he kills all the Greek gods, and then I don't know what happens. I don't know how it happens, but he ends up in with the Norse gods. He ends up somewhere else in a different realm, I guess.
Did you see the video right at the end of the game?
Yes,
Where
if you go back to
Thor-
the house and then Thor, it's not Thor, it's
Yeah.
Odin.
No, it's Thor because he has the hammer.
Yeah, but when it lands, it says Odin on his back, on the screen, because Odin carries a hammer too. Because he's also, he can carry. He's and
No, I don't. I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
because,
look it up, but I'm pretty sure. I thought it was Odin. It did when it comes on the screen. It says a name. I thought it was said Odin, but yeah. So that because I know he lands and the lightning hits. Because I'm pretty sure it opens the door and he says Odin, as if like, why are you here? But I really do hope they release a new game because there's all this, with these new consoles coming out and all that, it's one of those games that you at the end you don't want it to end. You don't want to have to start again, but there's no storyline left, so you can't do anything.
Mhm.
And it's got so many other side missions as well, but it is good. It's one of my favourite games, if not my favourite game. So on PC now, going to PC. Now you got a new PC kind of recently, didn't you, Dev? Like you got yours custom built.
I'd say about
No,
what
I say
time?
recently, but it was
Yeah,
you did
a
get a new
couple
PC.
years ago now.
Yeah, and because I think I got mine first.
You got yours way before I got
Yeah.
mine.
Now mine is not. I wouldn't
This
say
is my first PC. Yeah.
mine's an Alienware R something. I don't know what it's called. I don't know the spec of it, but
Mm.
it's a little bit outdated, and it's an incredible PC. It is unbelievable. But the problem is my Wi-Fi is not very good. So it's a good computer, but it can't run the games anyway because it can't. The Wi-Fi doesn't back it up. And I can even have trouble getting on Minecraft sometimes. Like that's how bad it can be.
Because you download at like
I
20
down-
kilobytes a second.
I download at 500 kilobytes a second, yeah, which is like
So it's a megabyte
half a
every 2
megabyte.
seconds. Yeah.
And let me tell you something. People are getting most people get like 30 megabytes a second. I don't even get one. I get half.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. And
I mean, my PC usually runs for some reason, it only runs 8 megabytes a second.
that's still
But on
better
my
than
console, it's 70, 80 megabytes.
Yeah, when I lived because I where I live now it's crap. But when I lived in the old house in a different place, the Wi-Fi was I would get 30 megabytes a second, 40 megabytes a second, because you could get fiber. You can't get it here. It's getting
Yeah.
put in, but at the moment it's not here. So it's a dead zone really.
That's what I don't like about PC gaming. If you're on a console and you have bad ping, you just keep
It's
playing.
fixable. It
But if
ends
you're
up
on
going.
if you're on a PC and you have bad ping, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, because of the
because-
controls and that.
And there's a difference between PC gaming and console gaming. On a console, you're playing against console players. You're all playing on the same platform. If I'm playing on Xbox One, there's someone on Xbox One X. They're not running faster than me. They're not running better specs. They're running 60 FPS, playing the same game as me. On PC, I could be versing someone with a Toshiba laptop that they stole from their mum.
Yeah.
Or they're on they're on like a mid-spec gaming PC.
Yeah,
It's a
I
bit
mean,
different.
that's the thing. Like, before you had your gaming PC, you had a Mac, didn't you?
Mm.
So we couldn't, there was certain things you couldn't get, and
Yeah.
so I was playing all these games and that, and he couldn't get them, and it was a good computer for like just a computer, not like a gaming PC. It's not a PC at all. It was a good computer to have, and we did play games. It did work. It just wasn't the best. But now he's got a better computer than I do, so it's all good now. But once this Wi-Fi is done, once this Wi-Fi is fixed, I can actually do stuff. Like I can't upload videos properly. I can, but like they take ages, so I have to upload them like the day before, and it can be a pain. It really can. But once the Wi-Fi's back, I can do all sorts, and that means we can play games together. We can do collabs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we touched up on this Call of Duty a few times now, and I won't lie to you. I will get it, but I'm not going to get it straight away. I'm not pre-ordering it. It's just not one of those. It was never hyped up. It just burst out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't have any hype behind it. Like, I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty that much anymore. It's kind of died down, I guess. And I think it's gonna do pretty crap, to be honest. Like, it looks, yeah, it's good. It's a Call of Duty game, but I don't think it's gonna be as popular as all the others. Because even Infinite Warfare, there was hype behind that game. There was people like, oh, holy crap, this game's going to be good. It's a new Call of Duty game. I didn't even know about this other one. Like, it literally, there was an advert on Instagram that I saw, and I was like, is that even... I thought it was like just a fan thing that someone made. It wasn't real. And then I looked it up, and it was a legit game that was being made, and it was just a bit out of nowhere. I don't think there was any... I didn't even hear about it. Like, there's normally rumours. There's a new Call of Duty coming out. There's a new Black Ops coming out. There's a new... this World War II come out. Like, that World War II was massive. It was everywhere. Same as Black Ops 4. But there's nothing on this new game. Like, I didn't know about it until it was nearly... Like, it's the beta's already out. Or the people have already played it. I don't know. I don't see it being that big. I really don't. I don't know. But I don't know if that's just what games are now, because there's not many hype. I don't think there's any hyped up games. I don't really, there's nothing. Recently I haven't come across a game that's been a big thing. Like, oh yeah, this game's coming out, everyone's gonna get it. People are gonna wait in line. Like with like GTA 5. When GTA 5 was released, people waited outside the shop the night before. They would sleep outside the shop and wait to go in. Like, how crazy is that? I don't get it. Like, they would sleep outside in a tent, and then they would all wait up and be in line the next morning to get first copies. It's so crazy. Like, now there's nothing. Like, then people just order it online. It is what it is. But it's not the same anymore. There's no hype behind stuff. Like, even on YouTube and that. Yes, there's hype behind certain people, but like, you used to, like, there was like series, and you'd sit and you'd watch all the episodes, and you'd be like, right, the next one's coming out in the next couple of weeks, or the next this time next week, and you'd wait for it. But there's nothing anymore. There's no hype behind anything. This is all just the work. This sort of gaming platform has kind of just merged into this big blob of meh. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just kind of, I think there's too much of a range on it now. There's all these different genres of games. There's all these different YouTubers that do different things like this. I think it's ASMR, isn't it? That weird sound stuff. Like, I'd never heard of it until someone... I think, Ollie, I think you mentioned it the other day. Like, I got my mic and I got really close and I said something and you were like, that's ASMR. I was like... And I googled it and I looked at it. I was like, what the hell is this? And it's weird. It's very weird. People just whisper into the mic. Like, I don't get it. I don't get what that does. I don't get why it's a thing. But, you know, it seems to be popular, so I ain't going to argue with it. Right. We've hit the 30-minute mark again, and this was a good episode. It was a good episode. And we'll keep you guys up to date with what's going on. We are going to record, I think, at least 4, maybe 5 before we upload them. So you'll see these roughly the same sort of time. But if you guys are saying stuff and mentioning stuff, and then nothing's been mentioned in the game, in like the podcast, that's not because we're ignoring you. That's because we just genuinely haven't seen anything yet. But I hope you enjoyed. Genuinely do. And we'll see you in the next one. See you later.